So I'm going to try something here with Zoom to record my capstone presentation. So the cultural group I chose was the 3D printing community. Now, it's a culture in itself, but it's very specific because of the different types of printers, because each one has to have its own settings, its own firmware, if you will. But it is very small communities within the 3D community. 3D printing community has multiple different smaller communities within it, but it is a worldwide little culture. So that's why I basically chose it, was for the different types of printing and thoughts, and I was always interested in the 3D printing. And ever since I got one, I've been trying to figure things out. So that's basically a little bit of why I chose this community, or culture rather. So what we'll cover today on my capstone will be what I learned from the culture, some of the things I printed, and where I got the ideas or the STL files to print them, and my overall impression of this culture. So I learned that this culture is very close knit, and um, the reason I say that is because if you get involved in any of their groups on like Facebook, you can really see uh, a lot of what they have to say, as in they'll help people each other out a lot. Um, for instance, somebody had a question about why their printer did this, and that's a shift. That piece is supposed to be over there, but it shifted that far, and not even sure how that happened. So they asked the question, and somebody said it separated way too early, being sarcastic, of course. But what it is there's an actual, the bed moves as you print, so there's a motor in here and a belt, and sometimes the belt will get stuck. And what happened with this one is it got stuck over here and continued printing. Not sure how exactly that kept printing over here, because there's nothing for it to adhere to. So they should have just ended up with a spaghetti mess, but they got lucky and got an interesting, I think it's supposed to be a rocket. Not exactly what it's supposed to look like. But then there's asking, like this one asks, what's the best way to adhere to a build plate, the glass bed to the build plate without clips. Now, I asked something similar to this, so I did respond within this one, because I do use the glass bed and I use the plates or the clips. And apparently, because what happens with the, when you get the printer, if you buy the one like I did, it comes with the huge paper alligator clips. They're like the 4-inch clips. So I actually bought some of these, and I have 6 of these little picture photo frame clips on my printer bed. So I don't have that problem anymore. It doesn't move. I don't have any problem with it adhering. So it works great. Um, Another thing is they'll show different designs on how they've printed things. For instance, let me go to that group real quick. It's the people have actually designed these. These are all STL files, which are printer files. People have designed all these, and they're way above my level. Like there's you a face mask from, it's in the form of a face hugger from the Alien series. Somebody made a helmet. They've done some really actually cool designs. This one somebody did of Elsa from Frozen. You got the Minions from Despicable Me. I'm not anywhere near their level of stuff design on Kira or um, yeah, Autodesk 360, Fusion 360. I'm still learning all these, but these people actually help you learn because they like to help people out. I mean, this one here, the Creality Ender 3D printing support and modding community. This is actually for my printer. I've asked several questions on here. One was about what the best bed to use was, and I got that answer. The other one was what the speed I should be printing on is, because Cura sets a default of 50 millimeters per second. They said you can go up to anywhere between 50 and 320 millimeters a second, depending on the level of detail. Something like this would be a faster print. It's just something that wraps around the back of your head to hold the face masks in place. So, moving on, the next thing we're going to talk about is some of the things I've printed. You've seen the little rocket guy or the X-Wing from Star Wars. This one was one of my first prints, which is why it's kind of messed up. It had the bed too hot and kind of melted him a little bit. I printed, of course, the guy with the Morning Star, the little tiny AT-AT walker. This is a little dice roller, so you roll dice in it. And I built this mainly because my stepdad kept rolling dice off the table when we were playing our D&D games. We have the Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. He didn't take too long. But, so this is, let me see if I can share it real quick. This is going to be Kira, and it's going to be the undead dragon. So that's what it looks like when it's already been sliced and everything. These are supports, and the actually main body of the dragon is here. Here's his head, his legs. The wings have supports under them. You get that all done, and then you have to pull the supports and stuff off, and he ends up looking like this. Now, if you take a look at that, you've got also these. These are the ones you can actually buy from WizKids or Wizards of the Coast. I'll open one up, show them a little better. They're pliable plastic a little bit, so that's about it. Overall, I could print on my printer this detail if I run it slow. The faster the speed, the worse the print will look. I mean, this one was a little monkey I printed out. And then, of course, with the COVID-19 going around, I printed a few of these out for family members. And what it is, it's a face mask. Use a blue paper towel, like a shop paper towel. You put it in the face mask where the bill is, and that creates a filter, and it uses little rubber attachments for here and here. Hold it on your face. Now, all of these files that I've picked up, except for the face mask, I got that one from a website for COVID-19. All the others I picked up from a website either called Thingsverse or Curse. Now, Thingsverse is very interesting because of all the different deals you can get off of there. Like, for instance, we're gonna pull up, I think this is Thingsverse. Nope, this is Colts. This is another one, and it has all kinds of, this is just their D&D section. All these are different types of STL files. Some cost something, some are free. This is a tile set to build a dungeon, a town, anything you want. These are little miniatures. You have a little mimic chest here. And these are all designs that people have made and either donated or put on here as a slight charge, like this one here, this terrain for an RPG is $2.99, whereas this bag mimic is free. This is a flower pot. It's a D20 flower pot. That's a free one. You have a troll with a club. He's $1.88. I mean, there's a lot of different things that people have put on here, and it's not just D&D miniatures. You can find Warhammer 40K miniatures. You can find, let's say you like Borderlands, you can find Borderlands stuff on here. You can find G.I. Joe. You can find just about anything. And as long as you have the printer that'll read the STL file, you can print it out. The biggest difference between most of the printers is you have filament printers and you have resin printers. Resin printers are better for the miniatures because they're cured by using UV light. And what happens is, as it's going through the resin itself, a UV is hitting where it wants to, and it's creating a 3D 360 degree as it comes up. So your miniature is actually pretty detailed at that point. They can do better detail. However, they're messy, and the fumes from a resin printer are toxic. Found that out from the group I'm part of as well. Now this group, this page here, is my mini factory. Now a lot of these will cost money, but a lot don't as well. It's just another site I use to look at miniatures, along with other things such as they have a printable chain. There it is. So, and it goes around the cables on the printer so they don't get caught in the printer itself. And these are all 3D printed chain. It just hooks around, so the cable will hook. This will hook to the cable around the cable, so the cable doesn't get in the way of the print. Seen one today where a guy woke up this morning and out the window of his little house he was 3D printing is his cable. So that didn't work so well. The other thing is with 3D printing community is, I mean, there's people worldwide. A lot of them are using translators to post on the Facebook page I'm a part of, just because the people they talk to are the ones that run the group are English speakers from United States. So what they do is while they're talking, they have to use a translator, and we can tell because translator doesn't translate all the words right. But usually they'll include a picture of what's going on so we can go ahead and understand their issue and try to explain it the best we can, and then they'll retranslate it again. I mean, it's pretty interesting on how big the community actually is and the people you talk to. They printed out masks. There's a person in Sandpoint I know of that printed out face masks or the face shields. It holds the face shield on and printed with clear filament to actually face shield itself for the hospital workers. I mean, it's just a huge group, and they are some of the groups or the communities had what they call a print farm. It's like 4 or 5 different printers minimum, and they were offering their services to the people in the area, like the hospitals or the elderly care facilities. They were printing out face masks. They were printing out door holders. So it's a little clip you hold and it grabs the door. You pull the door down, open it up, walk through, use that to stop the door from slamming behind you. And this was all to help out the people at risk during the COVID-19 breakout. And they're still doing it from what I know. There was a big, huge page on, I think it was Colts, that was advertising what was going on with it. But I mean, these people, they like to help each other out. If you're new, they really enjoy helping you because then they can explain what's going on, what you're doing either wrong or right, and suggest different ways to do things. For instance, a lot of them suggest what's called a BL level. It's an auto leveling device for leveling the bed. Others will suggest doing it manually, buying some upgraded springs, running Octoprint with Raspberry Pi, which is a device that allows you to go wireless. So you don't need to have the little micro SD adapter to be able to plug it into your computer, read it, download it from your computer back to the STL or back to the micro SD and then plug it into the printer, because that can take a while. And if that gets corrupted, it doesn't work anymore until you buy another STL file. But I mean, I've learned a lot from this culture, just getting involved in it, and everybody that I've talked to has always been super helpful, really nice. I talked, like I said the other day, one of them I was asking a question about the speed of the printer, what you can print at, and they suggested a certain speed or everything. And actually, here's that comment right here. I asked the guy, told him I have a 3D printer. Everything else is stock except for the glass bed. Just wondering what the best print speed for Cure is, because the default is 50 millimeters a second. I got a response. It depends on what you print. If it's shapes are simple and you don't care about quality, I've printed up to 350% speed. Play with it. Usually the slower, more accurate, faster speeds can have issues. I told them thank you. I've only ever printed with default settings so far, managed okay, but I see people talking about different speeds, and sometimes there was a thread on another blog that said up to 150 was good. I'm still fairly new to 3D printing, so I'm still learning about different tweaks to do with it. They replied again, you'll learn quick. Just printed a replacement handle for a buddy's Daisy BB gun and cranked it up to 250. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different practical uses for a 3D printer. And within the community, you can find so many different people willing to help out, explain things. I mean, there was one group, they were talking about the Autodesk Fusion 360, which is another huge 3D printing slicer design program. And it is quite large just because it's Autodesk and they actually do a lot of stuff in it. You can actually go in and download it for free if you're doing it educational, and even the home hobbyist can download it for free, and you can go in there and design things. I didn't know this until a couple days ago. I started using it. It's different than what I'm used to. So here is what it looks like right now. I have not printed this. This is another dice roller. And this is actually what it looks like with the brick wall and everything. And you go into File, 3D Print, and I believe it'll slice it in here and then show you what to do. I mean, it's just, and you can go in and check anything in here. Like this one, you can print into Mesh Mixer, Print Studio, Preform, or Custom. I'm not 100% sure about what all each of those is, but there's just so much within this community, and it's a fairly new community. I can remember when the printers, when they first come out, were like $10,000, $15,000. Mine I picked up for a little over 200. The metal printers are still going for about $15 to $3,000 easy. That's for a cheap one. The better ones you're looking still between 10 all the way up to $200,000. But that's for like business stuff. I mean, the filament printer that I have is an Ender 3X 3D printer. It'll print filament, which PLA and PSA, I think it's called. And you can go in and do a whole bunch of stuff with that. The different types of filament also, you have your plastic, your rubber, colored, clear, you have metal filament, you have actually wood filament, which is, I think, wood particles within the plastic or rubber itself, so it's more wood than anything else. Not sure how that works. I haven't tried any of that yet. But like I said, if you enjoy learning about new things like 3D printers, 3D printing, stuff like that, let me know. I'll see what I can find out. If I don't know an answer, I'm more than willing to help you. So, and other than that, that's about the end of this. So, have a good day.